Greetings, ladies and mental gents, and welcome to my channel, where I like to make audio narrations of various stories from the internet. In this video, we will be focusing on a story from the subreddit HFY, called Food for Thought, Part 19, Check Please, written by Level 25 Human Nerd. The link to the original will be in the description down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. The Tsar Nicholas was an impressive warship, simple, clean, to the point, while the blood of many was the larger overall. Much of that space was intended by the external voyagers in mind, housing the large support staff, families, and supplies needed to maintain it. The humans were more focused in the design. This was a ship of war, and nothing else. Everything was a bare minimum for what was needed to keep the vessel combat ready. The only excess space given were the recreational quarters on the port and starboard sides. Snetchel found herself apologizing often as her size regularly blocked passages through a bulkhead or corridor, forcing her to duck into a nearby room to let people pass, or displacing the ship's proper crew to allow her to continue onward. It was strange, small, and fascinating. As she ducked under an angled support beam, she found her destination, the port side lounge, and tapped a control panel to open up the wider door bulkhead. The chamber beyond was dim, lit only by the filtered light shining in through the wall-sized window that looked out over the copper-colored orb of Sasantilis and the local starscape. She watched the smaller corvette Shazazarad drift past before turning her attention to the figure sitting on the floor across the room, his form silhouetted against the planescape outside. Dread Alpha? Alex didn't turn, but a hand rose in a half-hearted wave, beckoning her inside. The female crouched away through the door and was thankful that this room had a higher ceiling than the rest of the ship, allowing her to straighten more. As she approached, a new scent caught her attention, and she followed it to the small cooking pot on the metal box on the floor next to Alex. Inside, a sort of sauce slowly bubbled away quietly, while the human occasionally dipped something in it, taking a scoop of it to eat. Snetchel gave a curious chattering sound as she settled down onto the floor next to him, her tail flicking back and forth gently. Glancing over at her, Alex offered her a corn chip. "Queso?" he explained a bit flatly as she took the offered chip and a bit of the dip. "Old Earth snack, good for dipping. I like mine with a bit of spicy side." She nodded and took a careful lick of the sauce on her tortilla chip, but perked up as she tossed the whole thing in her maw. "It is sweet, like your chili dish," she said with a wave of relief when she saw a small faint smile appear on the human's face, and without asking, she grabbed a few more chips for dipping. "They are wonderful, are they not?" she asked, turning her attention back to the starscape. "They are. Used to watch them from my home when I was a kid. Mom and Dad told me that there was more stars in the sky than all the people who had ever lived combined. Told them that I wanted to see them all one day," he replied after a moment, putting down the half-eaten tortilla in his hand. "I was going to sign on one of those colony ships, but then He paused, wondering how much he could tell her of his past, of what he was. Then life changed, and then the Death Star hit one of our frontier worlds, and I enlisted." The sudden halt did not go unnoticed by Snetchel, but she did not comment. "You saw glory in battle?" she asked. "No, nothing like that. My siblings and I were always told that it was up to us to lead humanity forward, to be the vanguard. Most of us took it literally. I decided that if Death Star wiped out everything, there was nothing to be lead." She nodded slowly, munching on a new favorite treat. "You fought to ensure the future of your race, of your family. In not seeking honor, you attained it greatly. It seems to me, Alexander, of the Brood Krevnikov, that such is the way of your life. In doing what you believe right for others, without thought of personal gain, you prove yourself again and again." Alex shrugged and finished his chip. "I guess. Not that it matters much. I've been declared unfit for duty on the basis of chronic psychiatric distress. I am Section 8. When he noted the look of confusion on the reptilian features, Alex shrugged. "My mental health is so bad the military doesn't think that I'm able to be a trooper anymore. The moment we hit the next starport, I'm a civilian." Snetchel nodded again, holding back a low growl of displeasure. She did not agree with that, not by what she had seen on the planet below, but she did not seem particularly upset about this decision. He simply seemed to rein in, tired and accepting. So, are you leaving us? Not much choice. The position of the blood of many is a military thing. If I'm not military, I'm not there. Simple as that. So what will you do? Return to your homeworld? Maybe, he offered, taking another bit of a dip. Me and a friend made plans to open up a deli once. I might do that. Spend some time with the family, perhaps. Or hell, maybe I'll sign up with a civilian freighter and just travel. At this point, I just don't know. No more fighting, though. I don't think I can deal with losing more friends like this. She looked at him with a new understanding and curled her tail in close. You blame yourself for Ilia's death. The faint flinch confirmed her suspicion. You have not yet seen the others, spoken with his mate. When he shook his head, she let out a growl of come freely. Then come. You are still our dread alpha for now. You have a duty that you must still attend to. Snitchel, I can't. On your feet, human. She picked him up and set him down on his boots with a light shake. We cannot truly rest until this is done. Come. Alex sighed, but pulled his jacket back on and turned off the heating unit before following her out into the halls and towards the hangar. She spoke in hushed tones through her comm badge, and when they arrived in the shuttle bay, the two were directed to one of the cargo transports carrying supplies back and forth between the various ships of the improvised battle group. The pair settled in and strapped down, and the shuttle took off, and it slipped out into the weightless void of space. Spots of light sliding across the interior as the craft banked and turned. I will not have time to explain once we return to the blood of many, so I'll do so here. As Ilia's dread alpha, it is your responsibility to sing to his glory to his mate and young. As you cannot sing in our language, it will be enough to speak of his deeds in battle. He was slain by a coward, so it falls upon you as well as to correct the crime by killing his murderer. You have done so already. All that must be done is to provide his mate with proof of the deed. Snetchel tilted her head and watched him. You are fortunate that Pac Beta Reclacrez took the initiative to collect such evidence for you. Alex gave her a look of confusion mixed with firm denial. But he said nothing. He simply watched as the bone-like structure of the Sabari warship loomed closer. Sure enough, the warpack was waiting for them when their shuttle landed. Schnetchel quickly stepping aside to stand near Reklo. The other female was holding a large bundle wrapped in black cloth and painted with a white mark. He noticed that the other Sabari passed by eyed the bundle curiously, but made a point to not looking directly at the glyph. Standing nearby, but away from the warpack, was a familiar-looking female. Alex took a deep breath and approached her, half-heartedly returning the unified salute that he was given from the others as he passed. Zalashah, Bru Jura, he greeted with a bow, trying his least to sound respectful. The female seemed relieved that she was recognized and returned the gesture. Dread Alpha, she replied, the two of them straightening back for a moment. There was a brief silence between them, and Zarlus clearly waiting for him and Alex to trying to think of what to say. Ilia was more than another soldier to me. He had become like a brother to me in the weeks that I had spent here, and his loss haunts me still. I blame myself for his death, though the others insist the fault was with others. He started, unable to break eye contact with the larger alien. He fought bravely and with honor. From what I know of the Conjurer, from my outsider's understanding of it, he embodied the tenets to their fullest, eager to learn and teach, always excited to try something new, always fair and level-headed. In battle, he and his team pushed all the way into the command center when the pirate station and stood victorious with us when it was secured. It was not until after we had contacted the shipmaster that the enemy leader struck from behind us. No challenge, no honorable battle. He simply gunned Ilia down and fled like a coward. He gestured to Reklo as Zarlus snarled at the news. Her anger quieting though as the pack beta handed a bundle to Alex. The hangar had gone quiet, those nearby having stopped to listen to the tale of a fallen comrade. I was told it was custom for your people to avenge such cowardice with bloodshed. I present you with the head of his murderer. I slew this one in single combat, blade to blade, and to bring you his skull of proof of the dead. The bundle exchanged hands with Raccoon speaking up. "Beautiful Azrekahl, mate of the honored dead, I speak in support of Dread Alpha's claim. I witnessed the act of cowardice that led to your mate's death. I witnessed the Dread Alpha's fury. I witnessed the cowardly traitor slaying at the Dread Alpha's hand. The blood debt is paid in full, and your mate feasts with his ancestors." Zarlis nodded and stepped back, lifting the bundle over her head and then letting it loose a roar of pent-up emotion. Grief, anger, retribution, it all came out, all aimed at the wrapped effigy that she had been given. Alex didn't know what to do, so he did nothing, waiting until the female was finished. "I thank you, Dread Alpha. You have seen that my mate's spirit walks the path of eternity, named amongst the honored dead, and that his killer suffers from the frozen abyss, nameless and forgotten. I bid you a warm sands, Dread Alpha." And with that, she turned away and left. The anger returned to normal once she had gone, staff and visitors going back to their tasks as though nothing had happened. Alex felt heavy, tired, but not quite as much as he had when Snetchel had come to find him. The rest of the squad was around him, Raccoon's hand on his shoulder. "Do you feel better now, Dread Alpha?" "No, but it's a start." "Thank you." He reached up to pat the hand and then tried to turn for the shuttle, but her grip remained firm. "Do not be so eager to leave us, Alexander. Come, let us return to our den. You will cook and feast to our victory. For a victory it was, no matter how you feel of it." Raccoon insisted, nudging him out of the hangar and into the wide hallways that he'd gotten so used to. When they arrived at the den, he found himself pausing as he stepped in. The place was much more cluttered than before. Raccoon's section was the same as he remembered, plus a few new weapons and trophies. His things were still there, but there was something sitting on his bed wrapped in a thick red fabric. 4 more sleeping areas had been added, with the personal belongings piled near each one, not yet organized or placed. Snetchel smiled and patted his back as she passed, moving towards one of the new areas, while Histak, Norlana, and Jessa did the same. "What is all of this?" he asked after a moment, moving towards his area but looking at the others. "It's customary for a war pack to den together, Dread Alpha," Histak explained with an amused look. Alex nodded and gave a brief look at the item on his bed. "I get that, but thought that Raccoon wasn't mated. The shipmaster believes that our victory has proven us capable of cohabitation." Raccoon interrupted, looking over her trophies like a human might pick out their clothes for an event, "without me trying to kill anyone, especially my Dread Alpha." At that, she looked meaningfully at the bundle, drawing his attention to it fully. He carefully unwrapped the item, recognizing the fabric as one of the banners that the pirates' stronghold. The stark claw mark torn through the emblem. Inside, he found another banner, this one new and carefully folded, along with the sword of the enemy leader that he had killed. "The trophies of your conquest, and your clan banner," Snetchel explained, sitting on her padded nest as she watched him. "We spoke with the other humans to find the crest that we believed would suit you, but you are free to change it. No, they want you to hang it above your nest. It'll be yours until the line passes from memory." Alexander unfolded the banner and held it back a sob. Against the khaki backdrop sat a single glyph, the sabarified version of the maple leaf emblem from his uniform. The pack watched him in silence, waiting to see what he thought. The human simply stood there, staring at the gif and holding back tears. Without a word, he carried it over to his cot, reached up to hang it on a small hook like the others had. "I'm going to miss you guys. You know that, right?" He sniffed and wiped the moisture from his eyes. "Frick it, I'm still Dread Alpha until we hit the next port. Oh, pack, this den is a disgrace. Look at this mess. I'm making myself a burger, and I better see those trophies mounted and those nests in order by the time I'm finished, or you'll wish that you left me back on the Tsar Nicholas," he barked out with a wide grin. The Sabari perked up as well, thumping their tails to see their friend back, and got to work setting up their things while Alex got to work on the burgers. It was a long trip to the nearest human station, and that was the very least that he intended to make the most of it. End of Part 19. If you enjoyed this story and wish to support the author, the link is down below. If you would like to support this channel, there are numerous ways to do so. They will also be listed in the description down below. But the easiest way to help this channel is to share it, subscribe, and like. And, as always, I will see you all in the next video, and I hope that you have a good one. Cheers!